this made smoother than your smoothest criminal. Shamo, about that money, what we get into. Shamo, about that money, get residuals. Shamo.
What it do, people? You're now tuned in.
Popovich
TV.
TV. Oh yeah.
We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. To everybody else, you already know. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. Let's talk about nigga, do you know what this is? One shot, one kill. What's the deal? And we addressed this like 2 lives ago, but it's spinning back in the clip now because UncLe MurDa, who we quote on this channel a lot. Crazy, shit crazy. We quote UncLe MurDa a lot, right? And we like UncLe MurDa. You know, we like his music and shit. So anyway, he recently entered the chat. If you don't know what's going on, real quick, bring you up to speed, because I spoke about this already, but I just want to speak about it now from a different, perspective, a different angle. So first we have Bleak and Jim Jones on the podcast. They was talking, they was making fun of Yayo, talking about he smoked crack, he a bum nigga, and Jim Jones, doing the most, because he's a podcaster now. We need them views, right? No matter if you're a rapper already with a platform, you're definitely gonna get on these YouTube streets, you're going to run through these social media platforms, and you're going to do and say the most, because you got to stay in that algorithm, you got to get them views viewing, and so you're going to say some shit, saying shit that obviously we don't believe. I don't believe Tony Yayo was a crackhead or he broke, right? I don't believe that. You probably don't believe it. But anyway, he said it, and it was in reference to Tony Yayo speaking about how Hov don't do for Bleak what 50 Cent does for him in the G Unit, right? And now it's the clip that we're speaking about now with them on the private jet, walking to the private jet. You know what I mean? I don't call it the airport, I call it the Clearport, right? The Quo-Hov. And you see 50 Cent on the plane and shit. They shouted out the big YouTuber or the big podcaster, I can't think of his name. And my man like, make sure you say his name, because that's real big for him. But I think he'd be like, leave it in the comments, right? And that's what 50 Cent's supposed to have said. Gave him a shout out. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about, because I don't even know, right? And I guess he on the come up, or it was good. It was a good look for 50 Cent doing shit like that. And so the comparison back to our first conversation leads us back to here now. If you didn't see the show where I went live, basically I was like, well, this shit is above my pay grade. A lot of us would like to be 50 Cent mans or even Hov mans, because they're both doing very, very well for themselves. You know what I mean? Come from the streets, come from the projects, made it out, became billionaires, household names. Or even if they're not billionaires, they both well off. They doing great for themselves. So if you grew up with Hov, you're doing good if you still cool with him. Or if you grew up with Poo-Poo, or not Poo-Poo, or Boo-Boo, 50 Cent, then you doing good if you still in the mix, right? So we wish we had friends like that. Some of my friends is locked up doing life. Some of them is dead and gone. Some of them is bum, deadbeat, bum-ass niggas. And you can't get $1 from them, right? And I'm just throwing that out there, because that's the truth. But with that being said, nobody's in the lose-lose. But when it comes strictly down to what Hov is doing, what 50 Cent is doing, when you see people in the comments like, niggas worrying about what other niggas is doing, taking care of other niggas, etc., I agree with that, to a little bit. But being how it's rap talk and it's hip hop talk, and these is two icons living, they had beef with each other at one point in time and shit. You say, in my opinion, if you had to put my feet to the fire, this is without seeing what goes on behind closed doors and behind, as far as who gives what to this charity and, the Carter Foundation or what 50 Cent do, just the stuff we could see. I'll say visibly, 50 Cent has proven to be the one who throws more alley-oops to his guys, put him in the series. Even if you can't act, I'm going to get you in the prison scene, you're going to stab a nigga up. I'm going to get you to come on tour with me. Last time I was in Vegas, I think he was doing a residency show out there. You had UncLe MurDa out there. You had Tony Yayo out there. Obviously, we know Young Buck and, and Banks, they don't rock no more. We know the history with Game, but so we not really talking about them because they haven't been around. But anybody that's still around, you may say, nah, Hov is, he do for you know, what's this guy's names? The people that came, Emery and, you know, all the other, I don't know all their names. He do for them, he woo, and I'm sure they got businesses, I'm sure they doing well. But I mean just visibly. And then Bleak, like, I'm eating halal, or whatever the fuck you say. I'm halal eating. I don't even know what that terminology means. I guess halal means good. I know that. The Islamic term halal means lawful. So maybe he like, I'm doing good on my own. I don't need that nigga anyway. I'm eating good. And he put out a project. I know he got a restaurant, even though I think he said Hove didn't pop up. And that's where like 50 Cent would have came. He would have brought the crew. He probably would have brought the power crew or whatever. You know, he gonna help propel you as long as you on the loyal side, right? And you see the other people, the Kanyes, the Dane. I know it's history with even Beanie Siegel getting into trouble. And he said, you know, the judge asked Hov, you gonna be responsible for him? And Hov was like, nah. And Beans had to go to jail, even though in the song, you like, if I die, Beans gonna be the sequel. And me and Bleak knocking at your door, we peeping through the peephole. That's what he rhyming about, but in the real life, you ain't gonna say, even if you don't, what can they do to you? They can't lock you up, they can't take your riches. The judge is saying, yo, they're going to release me right now, or I'm going to go to jail. And all you got to say is, I got him. And you say, nah, it's shit like that. You know what I mean? The Fox, you know, a lot of little things. And nobody's perfect. I don't know none of them niggas personally. They ain't doing nothing for me. So I speak from an unbiased, you know, place. But the alley-oops and the stuff that we see 50 do, you know, it looks more like he's, you know, more like a brotherhood as opposed to a business. Even though Hov, like, you know, Bleak is somewhere in the in my will somewhere, and again, I'm sure Emery and his mans and them is good. They living a good life. But UncLe MurDa was down with Hov, right? And he's speaking on it now because he's into the chat. He like, it's with Fifth it's different. Like it's different over here. It don't feel like it's just business. And there's nothing wrong with just both ways. Brotherhood, you my man because I fuck with you. And we only doing this business venture because it's beneficial for you and it's beneficial for me. Once that, you know, changes, that dynamic changes, I'm letting you know up front so you don't have to say on the back end, damn, dog, you played me. I thought we was cool. No, you couldn't have thought we was cool because I told you up front that it's good business now. And when this business is no longer good, you go your way, I go my way, and we cool until something else comes down the pipe in the future, and we could work together again. So that's how, you know, UncLe MurDa, you know, painted. Obviously, he was on the Brooklyn, that song, Brooklyn. Not sure if he put out no projects with Hov. You know, with MOP, I think, was with Hov, and they end up signing with 50 Cent and shit like that. And again, I know they've been adversaries or, you know, taking little jabs. That's a long history from, you know, You Better Be a Gentleman to Hov, I'm About $1, what the fuck is 50 Cent? Then they end up jumping on the I Get Money remix and all that. So, you know, this is competition. But back to, you know, who's better off, and I, you know, hate to preference it like that because none of them is looking out for me. You say Bleak and Yayo, who's good? I say they both good. I mean, they both came off in a great situation. It's just internet talk. That's all, really. Get people talking about bullshit.